선생님, 영어 귀뚫으려면 하루에 2-3시간 기본으로 들어가겠죠? Yes, that's true. You need to at least, I would say at least, and more importantly, something that you have to consider is what you listen to. I think what you listen to is almost equally as important as how much you listen to. So don't only rely on education content, like content that has been created just for English learners. You have to start listening to just regular English content, just regular content in English. So movies, TV shows, YouTube videos in English, not videos made for English learners, but just content in English. I think that's very, very important. What do you think about 영어 조기 교육? It's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's not for the kids. 영어 조기 교육, it's not for the kids, it's for the parents. Okay, so it's probably very inappropriate for me to say this as a person who doesn't have any children, but that's how I honestly feel. Since you're asking, parents say they do it for the children, it's not for the children, it's for the parents. Sam, I'm curious about if your book is good for English beginners. You are not required to understand everything that you see or everything that you hear. So it's the same thing with these streams. And you know, although I have 2 channels, I highly recommend, I'm not just saying that for the views, you have to become okay with the fact that you don't always understand everything. Most people can't stand that. Most people can't stand the fact that they don't understand everything that they're hearing. And so whenever that happens, they turn to someone and say, how do I deal with this? How do I solve this problem? That's not how it works. That's not how you approach learning a language. As I always say, learning a language is very much like going to another country and trying to adapt to their culture. Do you always understand everything? No. And even if you do understand everything, you don't always like everything. You can't accept certain things, but you just have to go with it if you want to adapt. So it's kind of the same thing with language. You have to be okay with not always understanding everything. That's very, very important. Sometimes I want to join to my kids' school class. I mean Canada school. Since my kids go to school, they're English much better than me. Hard to make them speak in Korean. I would have felt the same way. If I had a kid, I wouldn't really be sure whether I should be trying to have the kid learn both languages at the same time. Like, would that make it too hard for them? Would that confuse them? If you feel that it's necessary to have them learn Korean, which I think is a pretty good idea, because you never know what's going to happen, right? You might end up coming back to Korea. Have you been? I've been, up until very recently, I was dealing with some health issues, but this past week or so has been great because my doctor gave me a different prescription. I'm taking an extra dose of immunosuppressants, and that's really doing its job. It's doing the job that no other medication was able to do. Like, I take an enormous amount of antihistamines. The antihistamines don't do shit. But the moment I started taking an extra dose of immunosuppressant, it just worked like a charm. It's like I haven't had any hives these past several days. Ever since my last trip to the doctor, I haven't had any issues. And so that's kind of one of the reasons I'm like back full-time editing videos. Like I said, I'm so behind in my editing. A large part of the reason was because I was just not mentally there. I was not in the right headspace to do it because I was just suffering physically so much and really took a toll on my mental capacity. And so I really couldn't focus on anything. But now that the hives are gone, it's just, I swear, man, it's like I forgot what it felt like being normal, guys. I feel like my English has been stuck at B1 level for the past 20 years. I really hope to improve with your channel. It all comes down to one simple truth, that you can only learn and improve your English by using it. It all comes down to that. No more needs to be said. You can only learn and improve English by using it. This is exactly why I come in early and try to spend some time with you guys, because so we can just use English freely. I'm doing internship currently abroad. There's no problem at all for working, but it's hard to follow and join naturally coworkers' conversations during the break. That makes myself shrink. If there's one message that I would like to get across to English learners, is that one of the biggest mistakes that learners make is that they wait until they feel ready to use English with foreigners. And they create all these excuses. They come up with all these excuses to not communicate with foreigners. They tell, oh, I'm not ready yet. Oh, this person said my pronunciation sucks. I said this one thing to a foreigner. They didn't understand me, so I need to go back and study. This is how you hold yourself back. This is how you stop yourself from actually learning the language. I found playing a game with you was really helpful to learn new expressions we can still keep in my brain. Well, see, it's about the experience, right? You're not focused on just learning the language. We're actually using English and doing something at the same time, and that makes for a much better learning experience. At least that's what I believe. We've got to accept the harsh truth. There's no shortcut. I think the internet, social media, and all these smart devices has made it so, especially this whole AI revolution, has made it almost impossible for people to accept that. Because everything has become so much easier, so much more convenient, and we can do pretty much anything almost instantaneously now. No thinking required, no learning required. I mean, people have been able to create computer programs and apps without any coding skills at all, just using AI. We've actually convinced ourselves that everything should happen instantaneously, right? No effort required. Right, everything is just a click away. Everything is just a prompt away. Everything is just a command away, right? And so, whenever I tell people, oh, it takes about 5 years to properly learn a language to the point where you can use it comfortably with a native speaker, and they say, what, 5? No way, I have all this AI. I have all these smart devices, all these really great apps, and you're telling me it takes 5 years to learn a language? I've heard of a lot of people claiming that they learned, become a native speaker in a matter of 6 months or so, but I only believe what I see. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, and I have never seen anyone learning that fast.